Game already.
Yep.
Okay.
And so we see the game has just started.
Oh, the game's already started.
If
Okay, so this is the second lane, so you can see like here.
That's
Okay.
right.
First, let's take a deep breath.
Deep breath,
A
everyone.
lot of things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
We get 7 rounds of Swiss, and we're
Okay.
gonna overwhelm people with information.
It's
you know,
it's
you're just
kind of
bursting at the
God. Okay, I don't know why they started the game in the middle of the game. So when the game starts, you get 3 of your dudes, and they spawn in random spots on the board. So the green heroes and the blue heroes, they're typically kind of crap. So they tend to die immediately if you get unlucky against the red and the black heroes. Looks like the RNG was pretty kind to the blue-green guy. Alright. So there's 3 lanes. You can see up here which lane is the one that's like active. Well, not really, because it has the watermark from the stream. But, you know, if I don't highlight it. You can also see that also in that corner, I can't highlight it. There's like a check mark with some little face icons. Those are the heroes that are deployed in the next round. Okay. So you start with 3. We kind of skip the first turn because they skipped the first turn. And then when the second turn started, you start with 3 mana. They're on 4 mana. That's how you can tell it's the second turn. You get to place the heroes. When the game starts, your first 3 heroes, they just go wherever. But after that, you place the heroes in the lane you want them. So it's a little bit less RNG. So sometimes what happens is the game starts and the guy who's playing blue heroes gets them all instantly killed, and then you can't play any cards. That part really sucks. But it looks like that didn't happen in this game. You can only see, you see in his hand, the player at the bottom, he has green cards and blue cards because he's got blue heroes and green heroes. You can only play cards of the color in that lane. So he has 4 mana in this lane, but he can only play blue cards. So he played this one, summon a melee Kripp into any lane. Yeah. Okay.
Those that watched at PAX and
Okay, they're not talking about anything too interesting. Another thing that's pretty important is the initiative. So this is kind of where losing is winning plays a really big role. It doesn't happen immediately now, but like when you get to like 5, 6, 7 mana, it matters a lot. So if you're in like the middle phase and you go to the last tower, okay, I'll explain that in a second. Okay, so when a round ends, it's like 3 rounds of towers end. Man, they're playing so fast. I don't have time to explain this. Okay, so when the shop thing happens, you basically spend the gold that you've earned by killing your opponent's heroes. Heroes give you 5 gold, and whenever you kill a creep, you get 1 gold. And you use those for items, and items are like permanent modifiers to the heroes. So you see this hero over here to the left? He has like 3 item slots. He's probably gonna, the active player at the bottom here, he's probably gonna use some of those items on the hero. So you see he's got a blue hero. He can't play these green cards. He's got 5 mana, but he can't play these green cards. So I'll just finish the point of winning is losing. When you have a decent amount of mana, there are cards that can kill your opponent's heroes in like 1 cast. There's literally cards kill your opponent hero. So if your opponent has 1 hero in his lane, and you have 1 hero in your lane, and you have initiative, which means you act first, you can literally kill his hero before he can do anything, and it'll stop him from playing anything, because then he won't have any heroes in that lane. So in order to have initiative, you need to not play the last card on the last round in the lane. So to do that, you might have to lose a lane. So you might have to lose a lane so you can get initiative, so you can lock your opponent out from playing anything in a later lane. Alright, we good? Good with that? Double thumbs up? No? Oh, like 70%? Okay. Okay. These guys are playing low power decks because this is Gauntlet. This is like arena mode. Constructed decks are like generally a hell of a lot stronger. Okay, so the purpose of the game is to kill your opponent's towers, and there's crap in the way, and when there isn't crap in the way, you do tower damage. So there's like a little arrow here. You have a 50% chance to go straight if there's nothing in front of you. And you have a 50% chance to go either left or right, so like 25 left, 25 right. Okay. So these guys, they match up because there's people in front. They match up, but the opponent across, he does some tower damage because he's got more guys. So this guy, 50% randomed into another guy. So he attacks him, but he doesn't attack back. Those guys attack each other. That went straight, that went straight, that went straight. So he took a bunch of tower damage. So that middle lane, the top player is winning it by a lot. And the other two lanes are fairly even. However, the player at the bottom is playing green-blue, which is like kind of trashy heroes and like super trashy heroes. Like this is a 3-7. This is like... Okay, so he's playing both of these heroes in this lane. If he matches up badly, they're gonna instantly die. Not like instantly, like at the end of the round. Oh! Yep, both heroes are dead. So now he's trying to... They don't die. This is what happens if nothing gets modified. So he has to play cards to try to make sure that both of his heroes don't die. Because if both his heroes die, he's only getting one back next turn. See that top left there? He's probably not going to be able to play very much stuff. So he buffs the health here, so this thing doesn't die. It has a gold debuff. I believe the opposing player... No, that's a black... I don't know what that thing is. Anyway. So if you play blue, you have really powerful spells that cost a lot of mana, but it's really difficult to make it to a late game turn because your heroes suck. That's kind of how it's balanced. Yeah. Oh, they have deck lists. That doesn't really help because I don't know half the cards on there by name. Alright. Okay, so one of the things, if you're looking at a card like that was Condemn weapons, Condemn is like kill. Kill is equal to Condemn. That's, yeah. For piercing, this gets through armor, and it does the damage to all heroes in all lanes. So if you play blue, it's really important to win the first lane, because if you use damage going to all heroes in all lanes, you want to do that before the second and third lanes actually begin for your opponent. That's really important. So that's why the blue-green player is trying his best to win the first lane, but it's pretty hard to do that because his heroes are awful. Because that's just how the game is designed, not because his heroes are bad ones. His heroes are decent ones. See, like that's 5 damage to each position. That's like a crazy powerful spell. So even though the red players is winning, the blue-green player is expected to start winning around this phase. Yeah. So that's kind of like the flow of the game. This is in constructed, you can play whatever you want. You can play one color. Very rarely do you see that. You can play 2 color, which is the most common by far, and then 3 color, where things kind of go to shit. The reason you want to have fewer colors is because, like, you can only play cards if you have a hero of that color in that lane. Okay, so the reason he's doubling up on blue heroes in the first lane is because even though he has initiative, see, he goes first. The bottom player goes first in the left one here. There's a very good chance his existing 1 blue hero is going to be dead. Oh, and multicast is pretty nice too. So, Thunder God's Wrath 7 cost, he has 7 mana. It does 4 pierce, so it'll ignore the 3 armor. Yep. That's the spell. That's pretty good. I think he gets a kill on the other hero too, because it does 1 pierce. Yep. So the opponent lost his blue heroes. He only has 1 red hero, so he can only play red cards now. So that's why it's really important to have initiative, and that's why it's sometimes important to lose a little bit. I don't remember what the setup was like because I'm trying to explain things, but most likely the bottom player purposefully made some bad plays in order to have initiative for that turn. Getting initiative first lane on 7 mana playing blue, like really spicy. That's what you want. You want that spice. Very tasty. Okay. Alright, so now he's just trying to screw them. He can do 2 damage to a unit. That's pretty good. If he equips that weapon to one of the heroes and then nukes it, he can even kill the red hero, but he doesn't have much mana. And the reason why you might not want to do that is to maintain... Oh. He just pieced out his hero. Okay, interesting. So if you're the blue player here, you actually are winning the first lane now. That's kind of a big deal. That's why he's thinking of summoning melee creeps. Yeah, he ends up doing that. The main issue is his opponent is playing red-blue. Red has the best heroes, and blue has the best spells, so there's some chance that his opponent will play some kind of blue spell and be able to clear this out pretty easily. But yeah, the reason when I was talking about the weapon, the musket, he could use the musket and kill that thing. The reason he might not want to do that is because the bottom player had initiative in the next lane. So if he passed instead of playing a card, he would have went first in the next lane. But I believe his opponent has no heroes in the second lane. So it really doesn't make any difference. The creep killed the tower, which is kind of hilarious. And here he can play some green cards or some creeps if he wants. So basically, yes, the bottom player is winning. He's winning the middle, he's winning the end. But as a result of doing that, he just surrendered initiative in first lane where he has a bunch of stuff. So if the player on the other side had like a board clear, you can kind of see on the left there, he gets a red hero and a blue hero. So he could drop his red hero or his blue hero in the first lane and use a board clear before the bottom player can act. So it's kind of like a natural comeback mechanic, but it's also kind of abused, like I mentioned, where you'd make suboptimal plays to lose in order to gain initiative on an important turn. Let's see what they're saying.
Casting those spells. The double ignites taking effect there. You see the piercing damage doing its work on all the units here.
It's a very powerful steel reinforcements. That's Mazzy's signature card. It's going to give Melo's tower here, left tower, +1 armor.
He didn't get the proc again, so he didn't get the
ogre proc. Nope.
Yeah.
We're not seeing the infinite Thunder Gods.
What was that flyover?
Can kill that.
He used his other zappy all the opponent heroes. His opponent only has 2 heroes, so it's a lot shittier now.
Zeus's passive, which does deal piercing damage.
They're really quiet. Yeah, but that's so I can talk over them.
Just as you can see.
Oh, that's voice line. Zeus is a bit of a
Hot
So you win when you get 2 tower kills.
So it's looking rough for Melo. He's got 3 deployments, which is huge. He still needs to take one of these towers, and both of Yuel's other 2 towers are at very high health.
I just don't know if the first lane, if the bottom player killed the tower yet. If the bottom player has not killed any towers yet, the top player can still win relatively easily if he gets a board clear. But he doesn't have one, so he's pretty screwed right now.
25% chance for that arrow there to curve over, and so Prelate.
That's a feels good.
That's a feels good.
That's a feels good.
That's a feels
That's a
great.
good boy. That wolf is a good boy.
Good boy. Give him a treat. Yul doesn't have too many cards now in hand.
Okay,
Yeah,
so this is the shopping phase. I don't know. I guess it's the shopping phase for the bottom player. the viewer mode is not exactly great for the shopping phase. I guess they're going to work on that. Yeah, so the reason the casters are like just talking about cards through the card names, expecting you to understand them, that's because they've been playing this game for a really long time. Okay, beta's been out for a really long time. So, yes. I can explain some of the heroes. So, this is Ogre Blue Hero Dude. Ogre Magi, I think. He has like a 25% chance to double up on a spell that you cast, which is pretty nice. Pretty heavy RNG, but most of the RNG doesn't matter as much because there's so many ways to screw up playing the game. So if you just don't make any mistakes, you'll just probably win through RNG. This is the Zeus dude. The Zeus dude, whenever you play a spell, he zaps the 3 people in front of him for 1 piercing damage. That's why the 4 damage to all heroes actually killed a 5 health hero from the opponent. Okay. Oh, yes. The reason the bottom player has 2 Zeus is because this is Arena. You cannot have more than 1 of the same hero in your deck. But when you play Arena, which is called Gauntlet mode, you can literally have 5 of the same hero. Yeah.
And the right tower for Melo has 18 health, whereas Melo's mid tower, if you look at that, actually
Yeah,
has
anyone
21
can
health.
restream their stream.
So,
It's like a
well,
public
you could
permission.
potentially try to do that, but you're probably looking at just fighting for right lane.
And I asked. So yes.
And what does that card in his hand?
I always
What does
ask.
that do?
Gives 2 armor to the equip hero, and then it has an active where it modifies a unit, any unit. You can just.
Okay, so I'll explain armor real quick. Armor works as it did in like the RTS games of the 90s, where if you are about to take 5 damage and you have 2 armor, you take 3 damage instead. And the armor does not get used up. It just always reduces it by the flat value. So if you have 4 armor and someone hits you for 10 times, you take 0. Okay, so armor's pretty good, but a surprising amount of damage is piercing, and piercing means armor doesn't matter. That's why it pierces the armor. So that like zap your opponent's heroes, all of them in every lane for 4, that's piercing. So that's why it killed a whole bunch of armored heroes. And the Zeus, whenever you play a spell thingamajig, that's also piercing. That's why it killed the armored hero.
Because he wants his creeps to go
This
right.
game have more or less RNG than Hearthstone?
13 health left.
And the creep spawns are they
Probably more.
any of the lanes.
Right? Is the lane that's
Actually, I would say definitely more, but it doesn't matter as much because losing is winning. So it's like you can get unlucky and lose a lane,
Go over to that
but then because you lost a lane, you get an advantage later on.
We'll see who
So
this
you,
is.
if you use that advantage wisely enough, you can overcome for your bad RNG.
Mazzy right now is Melo's saving grace.
Oh, and
Oh my
finally,
Thunder Gods.
God.
Ogre
And
just needed to shoot
that's going to be
Zeus.
devastating. That is it. The ignite for, I mean, effective, useless potential ignite. It does not matter.
Okay,
because
so
it's gonna
the reason why he's got like a bajillion
and-
board clears, I'll be honest with you guys, I never played Gauntlet mode. I don't know how Gauntlet mode works exactly. But whenever you get a hero, you automatically get that hero's card in your deck. And that board clear for heroes, the Thunder God's Wrath or whatever it's called, the Zappity Zap that has the cool effect, that is tied to Zeus. So the bottom player had 2 Zeus, which I believe means that he automatically gets 6 of those cards. You normally get 3 copies of the hero's card in the deck. So, yeah. So the green-blue one, he got very lucky in the opening turn. The opening turn when you play blue is really high variance, because if all your blue heroes instantly die at the start of the game, it can be very difficult to do anything at all. So that didn't happen, and even though he started losing in the mid-game, that's kind of expected, because he was playing against red-blue. Blue is the weakest heroes, but red is the strongest heroes. Okay, so red is the strongest heroes, black is the second strongest heroes, green is like kind of shit heroes, and blue is like full pleb mode. Okay, the blue heroes actually don't do anything most of the time. It's all about the blue high mana cost spells. Oh, we're jumping into a different game?
Blue.
Well, from both.
Okay, this game did just start.
Yes.
Okay. So if you look at the top left there,
Down at the bottom here.
you see the bottom player has 3 red heroes. He's playing red-blue, and the top player is playing green-blue.
He's 3/7. He's a wuss.
You start with 3 heroes in play, but they're in random positions.
Survive to turn.
So in the first one, the red hero instantly kills someone. In the middle lane, Zeus got a bit lucky.
For Melo.
And in the bottom lane, this is actually a pretty beefy green hero, so he's gonna be fine. In the next round, you can see in the top left there, each player gets 1 blue hero, and they play that wherever they want. So the opening sequence is pretty high RNG, but the next turn, the next round, it's not so bad because like you can play the heroes whenever you want. You can see the initiative on the left there. So initiative is on the bottom player. So the bottom player plays the first play on the first lane there on the left.
Basic hero card is going to be providing armor to neighbors. So you'll see here the ogre gains 1 armor.
This dude has some cleave action. That's why he's got those 3 arrows.
Piercing by default, so
Cleave is not a status effect. Cleave is like a different attack. So if your hero does like 10 damage and he has cleave 2, he does 10 damage to the thing in front of him and 2 damage to the things beside him. He does not do 10 to all 3.
Each individual attack gets absorbed 1 point of it. The Compel is going to be able to redirect the Beastmaster into that Zeus. Yoel has nothing to do about this at this time, unfortunately, so he will have to just let his Zeus die. And this is the start Melo wants. This game could go in a very different direction.
And Prelix is safer now, which is exactly
Zeus
what
ripped.
he always wants for Prelix. The longer she stays alive, the more she can trigger that passive effect to bring a melee creep into the lane she's in.
Yep.
So that 3
Wait a
armor
second.
Mazzy, pretty tanky.
Very tanky, yeah.
The top player also has 2 Zeus, and he's also playing green-blue. I find that pretty insane. I think it might be the same player from the last game, and somehow they just instantly matched up against the different opponent. I think the bottom player from the last game is the top player for this game. Oh, is the same name? Okay. Oh, it's best of 3. Yes, Melo. Melo was the opponent. Okay, yeah. So this is the next round.
But giving up a lane with steel reinforcements is pretty good. We were talking earlier about like the risk of giving up a lane too much, right? Sacrificing it for too long gives them ancient potential, but steel reinforcements help slow that down.
Yep, once again, that's Mazzy's signature card here.
I've been explaining stuff. You can go watch the VOD if you want.
So Sven's going to have a gun here to shoot down perhaps this
even though the lanes are equal in terms of like the win condition, like if you kill 2 towers or the same tower twice over, when it respawns it has like a lot more health. So even though the towers are equal in terms of the win conditions, the earlier towers are a lot more important. Because that's where like you can play spells that affect the other lanes like downstream. So if you can use a spell in the first lane to kill a hero, your opponent's only hero in a different lane, you basically skip your opponent's turn on that lane. So the first lane is the most important, especially for blue. And the second lane is the second most important, and the third lane's kind of like backwater. But, you know, for actually winning, it's still important. Yeah. This is a tournament. I can't stream the game. Nobody can stream the game.
Why not?
You might want to keep this Zeus alive. At the same time, you look at kind of the turns, right? We're on mana 5 right now. If he dies, he's guaranteed to come back right at the Thunder God's turn. Keeping him alive 1 extra turn actually risks
he's
him.
dead.
NDA, boys. NDA.
Yes. On turn 7.
Exactly.
I see. Okay.
So sometimes having your heroes die in a timely manner, instead of keeping them alive and risking them dying in an untimely manner, can actually be a strategy you employ.
He's thinking more turns ahead.
Exactly.
Yep.
I'd love to see this battlefield control.
Why don't you
He's
play
actually gonna go
draft?
Lycanthrope instead of the
Because I don't have that
Savage
much
Wolf.
time.
It's a bit of a risky play. The Savage Wolf, as we mentioned earlier, will grow out of...
Like, I think one of the players in this is hyped. I think he's just using a different game. When I got access to the beta, Hyped had like 160 completed gauntlets since the last reset. Like these players play an astonishing amount of artifact. An astonishing amount. Like, the players that you're seeing right now are like pro Hearthstone players or ex-pro Hearthstone players who literally have all day to do whatever they want with. So they're pursuing a career in pro artifact. So they're playing like 10, 12 hours a day. So like, yeah, these guys are going to tell you like, you know, how interesting Gauntlet is and stuff, but like even me, when I have access to the game, like I don't have time to play that much.
Powerful strafing run, but he doesn't have follow-up. They're not going to be wiped on this board at all.
Yep, and unfortunately no piercing damage from Zeus's passive either to take down any stragglers.
Yep, Melo's thinking here about the Merofell Brawler. At the same time, again, this mid lane isn't Melo.
You can learn this game pretty fast.
Melo is both kind of
you also just have to...
Because Yoel has already one left. Melo has...
You also have to kind of step back and be a bit realistic. When I said it's difficult to understand whether a play is good or not, that's still the case for like the best players. Because usually when you lose something, when you lose a lane, when you lose a play or something like that, you gain initiative, or you gain to reposition your heroes. So bad things can happen in the game, and you can turn them into good things pretty quickly. So, yeah. I don't really know how I'd better explain that. What's initiative? Initiative is who plays first. So you see this... This turn right now, the player on the top, he forfeited the last turn, so he plays first in the first lane on this round. And this is because it's the 7 mana turn, and he plays Thunder God's Vigor. And Thunder Gods basically erases your opponent's heroes in the other lanes, even. Like, you just killed 2 heroes. So, now the bottom player, he can only play blue spells in the middle lane, and he can only play red spells in the last lane. As a result of the top player actually losing the last turn. So, I don't know. So, like, you have to go back, right? If you try to analyze, like, that's a very clear-cut losing is winning play. But most of them are not. Most of them are much more in the middle, where do you want to go all in order to give up initiative and give your opponent an opportunity to do something similar? Or do you do a suboptimal play just to maintain initiative and let your opponent have a temporary advantage? So that narrative of the game is something that's always going on. Yeah, this game is not free. You have to pay like $20, but you get some kind of cards or something. I actually don't know what you get for $20. My beta account had all the cards when I started, so I don't know what you get for $20.
Starts putting a little bit of extra pressure out on this Sven. Both players have expended their options. Melo can use a cloak or a salve. He's got to keep his Sven out of Thunder God's range. He's looking at that now. Okay, outside of Thunder God's range, safely. But Yoel still needs to draw it.
That's true. He has 5 more coming. He's only drawn 1.
Yeah. As we can see, Thunder Gods is just a very, very scary tool. He's actually overriding the key.
Oh, you get 10 packs, which cost $20 if you buy them? Oh, I see.
In Artifact, you can't equip items of the same slot on top of each other. So if you want to play something else, you have to override your last item. So he loses the Keenfolk Musket forever.
No more gun, huh?
No
Money
more
in the
guns,
shop.
replaced with a sword.
He's chosen to go
Neither of
for
these
gold
players are
sword.
playing black. Black has a lot of gold
And,
modifying
50%
cards.
Because his cleave ability is half of his current
So
attack
this is the
roll.
shop
is
phase.
so helpful.
After the 3 rounds happen, you
Combat
basically
phase.
spend your gold.
Be
It looks like in the spectator mode, we only see the
So-
bottom player's shop.
Who would you say the game is favoring right now?
It's still favoring Yoel.
Yoel,
As
yeah.
we mentioned before, Yoel has a very scary deck.
Okay. So we can only see the bottom player's shop. So this is his gold here. His gold will go up by 5 for every hero that he kills from his opponent, and his gold will go up by 1 for every creep that he kills from his opponent. And with this gold, you buy items. And items are basically permanent modifiers on your heroes. Like there's a cloak there, for example. You can get the potion, draw a card. There's no maximum hand size. It's typically not a problem until you run the infinite mana combo with blue. But you're probably not going to see that in draft mode. I don't know what version of the card is live. I've heard some conflicting reports. But there's a deck that you can play that you literally have infinite mana and you draw your whole deck. It's blue, obviously. And it's balanced because you're often not likely to make it to the turn required to play that card. It's balanced, guys. Just chill. It's balanced, alright? Fine. Calm down. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, I don't remember. Let's watch more.
Farvran going
Ooh,
left.
that's
What's that?
That's good for
Modifiers.
Good for
No,
gold, yes.
wasn't.
Oh,
He
no.
wants the
That was a bit of
Farvran
a brief
using-
segment.
The Farvan's now mid and he can cast stuff.
Yes. If the Farvran had gone left, that would have been useless for Yoel instead,
Yeah.
because pushing left is less important than just developing more defense mid.
Do you think that was a correct roar though?
I think it was. It was probably necessary at the time.
So
like,
the initiative is from the... Okay, so 1 round is like all 3 lanes doing stuff. The initiative on each lane has to do with the last round. So right now you see in the first player has initiative, the bottom player has initiative. That's because the top player made the last action. Making the last action is typically good. So because the top player pushed on the bottom, on the last lane, he's now at a slight disadvantage going into the next lane. That's initiative. So the bottom player actually dumped every single hero in the last lane. Seeing as he already won the middle lane, this is a pretty strong strategy. He's going all in the most worthless lane. Pretty interesting, actually. So the top player won the first lane, the bottom player won the second lane, and because all of the bottom player's heroes died at the same time, which was a good thing 2 turns ago, it's now a bad thing because you can stack them all on the same lane. So remember how I said that big setup turn that killed all those heroes and stopped them from playing cards? Even though that led to a strong 2-turn advantage, now he's paying the price. So again, even though it was one of the clearest win plays, it still has a pretty large disadvantage right now. Because if he loses this bottom lane, he could actually lose the game. It's destroying 2 towers or 1 tower in 2 different lanes. Just 2 of any version of towers. Bottom player is about to lose. No, his tower has 1 health. But he's crushing this lane.
One behold, oh my goodness. Active 4 to
Every
draw a
4
card.
turns you can
Yes.
draw 1 card.
Truly
Excellent.
the
Yeah.
most powerful power.
Yeah. So Melo takes the friendly fire, makes Yoel's 2 heroes attack each other. This puts Lycan into kill range, which is what you want. And Yoel's just setting up a wall. He's saying, you might take my mid tower, but you are not taking my right tower. At this point, the 6 siege damage on the Thunderhide pack is putting Melo down to 1 tower health on this lane.
Okay. One of the mods on these creeps is siege damage. This, I forget what it's called, Thunder Beast or something. I play that card. I really should know what it's called. It has siege 6. What siege does is, if it does not hit the tower directly, the siege damage is done to the tower. So if there's something kind of like in the way blocking its damage, the siege damage is done through it. It's not trample. If you have something with 1 attack and siege 10, if it gets blocked, it does 10 damage to the tower. If it doesn't get blocked, it does 1 damage to the tower. It's not trample.
He's gonna. Doesn't matter if he's blocked. He's gonna hit the tower, which is at 1 health. Okay.
Can we look at right lane real quick? This is
And
what
again,
it's going to come down to.
this is the ancient, for those of you who don't remember. But that's going from 80 health. So both heroes, or both players already have 1 tower taken.
So what happens when there's a tie?
Looks like a draw.
In the Swiss, it depends like on the tournament rules, but typically you get basically like half a win for a tie.
I
or
see.
1 point instead of 3. So this is actually a really, really unfortunate alignment for Melo. It looks like there's no way for him to get this dinosaur off the board. If there was another creep there, you could combo Battlefield Control to try to like angle your roar.
Swim. It's a Thunderhide pack. Okay, it's more than 1 dinosaur. Show it the respect it deserves.
Dinosaurs. There is an alpha.
If he could somehow kill his own Jamoy, if there was any way for him to kill his own Jamoy.
Oh.
Yeah, the problem like I play Artifact a decent bit. The problem with what the casters are saying is they're referring to the cards by their names. I play Artifact, I don't even know half the cards. So I don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, the gist of what they're probably talking about is this dinosaur thing that has siege damage is going to go through no matter what, and the bottom player is trying to stack up little trinket things on his tower so he can do as much stuff as possible to try to kill this, but that's probably not going to happen. Yeah, so that's a tie. That's a pretty interesting tie. Ties are relatively rare. Siege damage, I think, is one of the rare ways where you tie. I like his suit. It's very nice. Do you like his suit? It has butterflies in multiple colors. You'd probably hate it if I bought something like that, but they look like butterflies. I think it's a very nice suit. Well, I'd have to cast stuff, so no, I'm good. Siege sounds broken as hell. Yeah, I'm not going to show you guys cards because I don't know what's NDA and what isn't exactly. This is Hype, by the way. He's the one who plays Artifact the most. This is Life Coach, by the way. Somehow he plays less Artifact, even though he spends all his life playing Artifact now. Alright. This is round 3. Okay, let's see the initial deployment.
He doesn't even do anything.
So lucky, dude.
Into the Farvan as well is very favorable. Melo's got a good flop here. He's up
So lucky.
Yep.
The game started and the blue heroes and the green heroes, none of them instantly died. Against 3 red heroes, that's very lucky. Here's what happens when I play blue. Half my heroes instantly die and I can't play cards. And then I don't make it to turn 7. And then I'm like, woo! I guess I don't want to play blue anymore. But then blue does have like ridiculously strong spells, but the opening flop variance of blue is pretty brutal. You guys saw the blue spells are crazy. Like the blue 6, 7, 8 mana cards, they're like literally the best cards in the game. But if you get really unlucky with hero positioning, you won't make it that far. That's kind of how blue works. Red is super strong heroes and some kill cards. Black is pretty strong heroes and a ton of kill cards. And green is like health stacked, but still pretty crappy heroes with like healing and mana accelerants.
Everything next to him, and so those two creeps are just doing extra damage to the
That's
tower.
absolutely what you want.
Yeah.
So like if you look at these boards, Yoel is kind of winning both mid and right.
It's not exactly
Melo's
ramp.
winning left, and of course you want to be the player winning
Yeah.
2 out of 3.
Some of
You
it
wanna
is
be the
ramp,
player
but it's not
winning and
just
winning
ramp.
against the
There's
blue.
like
'Cause those
there's like
Thundercards
mana
are
refresh
just-
effects.
he knows, you know, like he's gonna at least cast 1 or 2.
I will say that steel strength mid was really, really crucial for Yoel. Like that completely turned how mid board was going, like 180.
Yep, and Beastmaster usually a pretty healthy hero at 12.
Isn't it great to have 3 heroes of some color and then
Hard
2
for,
blues?
Blue and green to take him down, but steel just
Well, that's what the top player is doing.
So in this lane here, it's just a lonely ogre. It will be a pretty neat remote detonation if he gets to turn.
Ooh. But maybe the counterplay,
Yeah.
the town portal score from Melo keeping his Prelix alive next turn, should the remote detonation drop, and I think that's absolutely what you're looking for here.
Yep.
If you're
The mana that you have is this number here beside the tower, 5 out of 5.
Because he knows if
That's
the remote
per
detonation
tower.
drops, that will be kind of
The mana is on each tower. So if you lose your heroes in a certain lane, you basically lose that mana for that round because you can't play anything. You can only play a card if you have a hero of that color. So the only card he can play here is Juke, because all the other cards are blue, and the only hero he has is green. So in the next lane, he has a blue and a green hero, so in that lane, he can play all the other cards if he wants. So that's why killing heroes gives you a large but temporary advantage. Yeah.
Lycan, you're also saving the opponent's creep.
So he does do the trade.
And you can preserve the Juke here.
This
as
is
well.
not sponsored.
This
No.
is not a good board state for Melo's Red Mist Pillager in hand. If you look at that card, ooh, he's gonna play it anyway. Gonna open up.
Yeah,
a
because
slot
it doesn't die.
Here. Yes.
But Juke.
But Juke.
Yep. Juke could swap the melee creep with the Prowler Vanguard. But he's gonna compel instead to achieve the same thing.
And he gets to draw a card.
You've got Yoel sitting on.
Yeah. Is there a way to win without a board? Oh, yes. Again, I don't know what cards have been revealed. I think they've all been revealed, but I don't know. So I'm not going to talk about anything that we're not seeing in the game right now. On the stream, that is. But blue has many ways to clear the board. So if your hero gets killed, he comes back 2 turns later. If you stagger your heroes getting killed and you have all the board clears, so you give up a lane, but then your hero gets rezzed, so you clear out your opponent's board with initiative. And then you just constantly do that until you reach the infinite damage combos, which blue does have in Constructed. What's with all the arrows? So if there's something in front, they attack each other. See, like forward, forward. If there's nothing in front, it's 50% chance to go forward, which means hitting the tower. And 25% chance to go left, 25% chance to go right. If this dude, if he went towards the hero doesn't attack it back. So smashing one thing is sometimes very good for killing it. RNG. Yeah. There's a lot of RNG in Artifact, but I think the worst RNG is the arrow RNG because there's no recovery mechanic. So like if you get all your heroes killed at the start, you can turn that into an advantage because you can have initiative and you can have stacked lanes. So usually RNG in this game is something that you can recover from because you can easily turn a disadvantage into an advantage. But with the arrow RNG, not really. If you get screwed on the arrow RNG, you don't really gain anything out of that. So I think the arrow RNG is the one that people like the least.
Hyped to the couch.
Look at that one for me on that red mist maul,
Oh,
right
yes.
onto the Zeus, killing the Prelix and dealing
Thank
just a
you
little
very
bit of
much.
siege damage.
So
Red
you're already
Mist Mall's
done?
actually
You're done with
huge.
your round?
Yeah, I cleaned it up pretty quick. Just
Oh,
as a second
wow.
general
Okay,
guess.
alright.
It was actually extremely close. I had my tower at 1 with the tree buckets in play, so it's pretty close.
What's the tree buckets?
It's a
Trebuchets.
do. No, I took French in high school.
Trebuchet.
It's actually tree buckets.
Tree
so
buckets.
That's what people are calling it.
It's kind of like how you guys pronounce
cup
coup
de
de
grace.
How did the
grace.
turn timer work?
Cup de gras.
Coup de
Oh.
grace.
So I never hit it actually. I generally play pretty fast, but I'm pretty sure this is the overall timer. 5 minutes. When this runs out, you just lose the game. It's like a time bank.
Too smart.
Didn't have him left.
Yep.
Too smart for the roar.
That roar again would stun the unit that blocks.
Oh,
Matt.
but
Yo,
it
that
curved into it.
arrow,
That
bro.
enables the roar to stun the ogre.
Would he use the roar here though?
I mean, it stops one of the thunder gods, and then you just have to deal with the
He
other
doesn't
two.
know. He doesn't have the info.
How
Though.
long is the average
Every single
game?
time.
7.
I don't know. I think most of these guys are playing arena decks right now. That's why I don't even know half the cards. Oh yeah, they got wrecked on that. That's a pretty brutal arrow right there. Oh, but no, he does the Thunder God's Wrath to get around it. Okay. Damn, what was I saying? Let me scroll up. I forget. I forget what I was talking about. Vegan brain. Yeah, dude, I'm still waking up right now. That's fine. I'll manage. Thank you though.
There's
So-
no way he can stop the Zeus from casting that Thunder Gods.
Melo's best play with initiative is to jam a stone.
Yeah, so he got wrecked on the arrow RNG, but he had Thunder Guard's Wrath. Deal 4 pierce to every hero in every
Draw the
lane.
card before he dies.
Every opponent hero.
They're both gonna die.
Yeah,
if
he's
he
gonna
doesn't
die.
do
He's
that.
just like, take this
Please.
before I die.
You got a stone hall. I like it on Jamai.
Yeah.
Ooh, he takes
Puts
on
it
Beastmaster.
on.
Okay, so the Beastmaster will live.
Turn timers.
For now.
Oh, yes. I was talking about... Okay, so these guys are playing Arena right now. I've never played Arena in the game. So I imagine, like, these all look like mid-range decks to me. So if everyone's playing mid-range decks, I think the games will last longer than the constructed ones. The constructed ones have much more of a defined direction. Or the decks suck, and they don't, I guess. But the good decks have a defined direction, which, like, you know, if your defined direction is infinite combo late game, then your first early game turns are like pass, pass, kill everything. Pass, pass, kill everything. So they're very straightforward. Or if you're playing a hero killing deck, you literally just kill the heroes. So, yeah, I never had a problem with my time bank. Not even once, not even my first game. So I'm not really sure how aggressive this is for constructed. I don't know. It doesn't seem like I also play very fast, so I don't know.
There's gonna
Ooh.
be no heroes for Melo in the next turn.
Yes.
If you were Melo, would you concede here, hyped?
Unless you have something crazy in your deck like a Vesture, but with Primal Aurora, can kind of dig you out
Hey,
out of anything.
Though,
But-
keep in mind,
But
he
it's-
only
yeah.
needs
Die.
10 damage mid, guys. Look at the mid tower. If that creep had spawned right in front of the Beastmaster, he has initiative.
What does it say about
he
the
has
game?
power, and
Your
he
account
does
goes
something about
25k,
it.
11k in 1.5 hours.
He
He-
dead though.
He can't
Well,
stop
I
that.
told you guys, it's a very difficult game to watch.
He dead.
Yeah.
I think the main problem that this
Oh,
tournament has
He's gonna
is
do it in style.
um
Knight's gonna finish him off.
there's no overlay where you can see the cards,
so close.
and the casters are talking about the cards by name. And I don't even know half the cards. So.
By Melo, but it just
Fine, give me a coffee. Thank you. Love you.
Heroes coming in next turn. So,
Yep.
what are the odds here, guys?
Like, okay, I know most of the cards on the bottom here. Yeah, I don't remember what Savage Wolf is. I don't remember. It's this guy's hero card, but I don't remember what it does because I don't play that stuff. Yeah. So like I don't know, but like okay, the top guy, Primal Roar is the hero card of the other dude. But I forget what it does exactly. I don't even know what Ventriloquy is. Like, I don't know. I don't know these cards. I don't know them by name. Right? So if I see these cards, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I just play it. Like, when you're playing the game, you can just hover over a card. It's like when you're playing Hearthstone for the first time, you hover over the cards in your hand to see what they do. But the way that they're presenting the game right now, they're just talking about the cards by name. And, like, the viewers have no idea what these cards are. I have no idea what half these cards are. Okay, maybe not half, but some of them.
He's very close.
Yeah. It looks like
Wolf
this
is going to be able to
this
get
win
+1
could
attack
turn
damage.
into a tie.
Yeah, it could be very well be a tie. With the
Another
Another
tie?
Ties are fun.
And if there's a tie, we're just going into the next round, right? We're not like they're not playing again.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Mhm.
But Yoa will effectively win the series because it's 2 ties and a win.
All right, 4 heroes coming out for Melo. Where are these heroes going to
Wait.
go?
Yeah, all going
All going
mid.
to
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
mid. You've
Mid.
got to reach for
Ooh,
just
bad
that
creep.
extra 10 damage.
Yeah, Yol kind of wanted to creep in the middle. Maybe
Oh,
he
he hasn't killed a single tower yet.
doesn't get
I was gonna say if he equipped the maul, he could
Ogre's
finish the
gonna
tower.
drop the Prelix right
but the
away.
game would
Prelix
end
is gonna
before
be
that.
Dead. It immediately takes 4 to Thunder Gods and 1 to the Ignite mid.
He dead before he could do anything.
Yeah. And that is just like what you get sometimes for running Prelix. Very squishy hero.
So he's gonna potion first, right?
Yep, potion
Yeah, no
can
reason
draw a
not to
card.
here.
Are the viewers supposed to know any of that?
Thunder God's coming down.
Well, once you can actually play the game yourself, once you have played the game yourself,
Prelix Satyrs, though.
once they have,
Very risky.
like,
Melo does have
I don't know, I gave them this feedback. I told them how valuable it was to have a card overlay on Twitch like they do for Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone.
Not really. It's very
So they're
looks
probably
very
pretty
bad.
well aware of it. So once they have that, it'll be a lot easier to follow, I
There's an
think.
RNG with the positioning, but it's interesting that if you're ahead, you can control the positioning.
So that card you're seeing a lot of,
If you're behind,
That's a cast.
Doesn't
the
matter.
oh, he
You gotta get
procced the
the ball back, right?
25% ogre.
that's
He got his card back.
chance to win from behind.
Like a respell.
Prelix
Yeah, so the reason you're seeing that hero lightning card a whole bunch is because it's a hero card. It's not a card that you draft per se. It's a card that guy that just died, Zeus. It's the Zeus card. So when you draft a hero or when you put a hero in your deck, you automatically get that hero's signature card. So in gauntlet mode, just kind of like arena mode, which is what they're doing right now, the bottom player drafted 2 Zeus. So he has 6 Thunder Gods in his deck. It's kind of like whenever you pick mage, you get 3 flame strikes. But you can get lucky and get 2 mages in your draft, resulting in 6 flame strikes. But it's not exactly flame strike, it's just hero killing.
He knows there's one
This-
left.
Yeah, this is it for
Yep.
Melo. Takes the
All
lead.
You can
Alright,
play
our
the
boy-
same
our boy
heroes. No. It's only for gauntlet mode. If you play constructed, you cannot have duplicate heroes. In gauntlet mode, it's just whatever you get. I don't think I've ever seen more than 2, maybe 3 of the same hero, but I don't know, theoretically, maybe you can get 5 of the same hero in gauntlet mode. I don't know. Theoretically.
Yeah, let's see who else is still